Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there in the world? I see Mike K's already in the chat. Mike K's here. Mike K's having fun. What's up to everybody else? I am also a fan of this music. Jesse found it. I definitely didn't upload this, but Jesse, I'm pretty sure Jesse put it in the Rolodex down below. What is it called? What is it called? It's just Indian music. No copyright Indian music. That's what it is. And I think it's a fucking banger. Like, I really dig this track. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Turn it down to 10. Boom. There we go. Ooh, I had you muted. I don't know if you were talking, Colin. What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm tired. I had a long day. I had a long ass day at work.
It's been a long week.
Oh, it has been a week. Sorry, I was trying. The reason it was rolling for so long, I was trying to get the tweet out. I didn't realize I didn't have the picture downloaded, and I was like, I was scrambling there last second, which I should have been doing way ahead of time. But I'm also 45 minutes behind, so that's the kind of day it's been. Oh, we were talking cameras right before we went live.
Yeah.
You got a Sony EV10, which I was gonna get when I was shopping. It was last Christmas, so it was about a year ago. I've had this camera for about a year now, and they had a great deal at Best Buy for, I want to say it was normally $7.99. I got it for like $5.50, so it was like $100.
I got mine for $5.99 open box, and it came with the stock lens, which the stock lens is not terrible, but for those who don't know, I have my degree in TV and film production, and I work for the College of Charleston out here in South Carolina doing athletic video content. And having just like the ability to like maybe not have a knob on your zoom if you're used to like TV production, but like just being able to control your zoom, and then the stock lens that comes with Sony's is basically like a rotary phone in terms of its ability to turn, and you're like, this ain't it, chief.
Functionality is not quite there.
Baseball videos from the beginning of last season, they're filmed with my stock lens, and it was just not the right idea at all.
Right.
And by the end of the season, I'm using a 55 to 105 Sony, and it's just so much better. But now this season I'm using the school's A7S3, and it's just, oh my god.
All of that sounds like gibberish to me. Now that you got too far into the weeds for me.
55 to 105, I'm talking about the millimeter length of the lens.
Okay.
And then an A7S3 is just like so our bodies essentially probably the same. I think mine maybe has a better sensor in it than yours. Mine has the same sensor as a A6400,
okay,
but these are still sub $1,000 bodies. Once you get into the A series, $2,000 bodies.
Sure.
And
yeah, much more expensive.
Our school bought one right as soon as the A4 went on sale, and so we got an A3, and even that upgrade over mine, it's just like
right
night and day. I put out a video yesterday. I was just like, it was the first one I'd used that camera for. I was like, oh, boys, big difference. Big difference.
I watch a lot of Alpha Gaming and Harris Heller on YouTube, and that's where I like just learn all the YouTube stuff, right? He's really good with all that stuff. The whole channel is. And once he gets into the weeds on cameras, I'm just like, nope. Just get cameras and microphones. I'm like, you're speaking Greek, dude. I don't know what the hell you're saying now.
It took a long time for me to get that way with like, I'm a big MKBHD fan.
Okay. And
so when Marquez starts talking about his cameras, and they now have like a whole side studio channel that the 6, 7 people, 8 people that work for him create content about like what it's like behind the scenes to like run a YouTube channel, which I think is really interesting and great. And they go into the closet, and I'm like, you guys run a YouTube channel and you guys blow away like D1 sports programs. Like, you guys are insane. Congratulations. You're great.
It's nuts that the amount of stuff that streamers in general and just YouTube channels. It's like, oh yeah, you are not making nearly enough to offset that cost. So there's obviously other income.
There are some that do, but like
there's some.
Even I mean, the game is kind of changing. I mean, I know like guys like Mr. Beast, just go to the straight tippy top. The guy lives at his office. He doesn't own a house. He pays rent on his business, on his property, and pays a mortgage on his property,
right,
and lives on his property. So like you have people
reinvest.
that are in this game that we're for lack of like lightly dabbling our toes in comparison to some people in this world, and they're literally sleeping at work. And he says every dollar I make from a video goes into the next video. Like, I don't need to go on vacation. I don't need to do, like, the guy buys an island and sends somebody there for 30 days. Like, that sounds like vacation to me. Like, that doesn't, like, when you found that thing that makes you happy. And like, I
Right.
feel honored that I'm able to go to work and film guys playing baseball for a living. Like, that's, if you would have told 12-year-old me that, I would be like, no, you're lying. That's not possible. They don't let somebody do that. But like, when you find that thing, you're just jiving. It's nice. And I feel like that's kind of maybe like what Mr. Beast and some of these top end guys, where it's like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It's like, yeah, Mike, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Totally gotten there.
Absolutely.
Last, 2 years.
Yeah. And if you can transition that into actually, monetarily supporting what you want to do too, that's the goal. That's the goal for everybody too. I'm really at that point in my life, my career, like doing what I do on a daily basis. I'm a cable guy by nature. So I'm out I'm huffing telephone poles. I'm talking to customers, this, that, the other. And I'm kind of just over it. And so like, I'm trying to find, and I like what I do. I like working with my hands. I like fixing things. And like, there's a lot to it. It's not the same. Every job.
Buddy, I have an industry
we'll have 100
that has endless jobs.
Well, there's 100 like problems that will happen, or but it all sounds like the same thing, but there's 100 different reasons why it happens. So it keeps your mind fresh. You always have to be thinking about, okay, why did this happen? Why
You're
that?
literally describing the other job I do at my job, which is live production. That's where I work in TV production. So like half my job is being creative director for our women's basketball, baseball, and volleyball teams. The other half of my gig is running the video board for our men's basketball team while also assisting in setting up the broadcast stream. And what the problems probably are, right? But there's a game to fix those problems. And like just those moments of having to fix a problem. And it's like in that golf movie, The Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf, where the whole screen gets really tiny and you just see the hole. It's kind of like that. Like you just want to focus in on the problem. You want to fix that problem. Now imagine not having to deal with that with cable, but instead you could be doing that on like sets and stuff.
Well, doing this for like the last year or two, and doing the graphic, like I make all the graphics, I edit most of our videos, like I do all this stuff, and this is the stuff like I've learned to love, like especially over the last year or so. Yes, he does, Josh. He does. It's amazing. Like this is the stuff I've learned to love. Like I enjoy this so much more because like my wife, she worked from home. Her desk's right over here. And like I was on light duty like 6 months back. I had hurt myself. So I'm sitting here and I'm doing the light duty work. I wanted to bang my head against a concrete wall. Like I could not. It was so monotonous. I cannot sit at a desk and do this. But then again, on my free time, when I'm doing this and when I'm editing and when I'm filming videos and I'm doing like movie talk type stuff, 8 hours have gone by. I'm like, holy shit, I got to go pick up my kids from school. Like I got to run. Like I don't realize the time has flown by. And so like I've learned to love this type of stuff. And I really I'm trying to figure out a way to maneuver my life in that direction. But I also got a mortgage and kids and I got a lot of responsibilities. So I can't just up and quit my job. I've been here 15 years. So it's that's adult stuff. That's what it's about. It's about living life.
Into, like little gigs. Like, do you have where are you located? You're in San Francisco area, right?
Sacramento. So just north of San Francisco.
Right. Yeah. Bay, North Bay, or Northern California, not
Northern California. Yeah. We're in the capital. No one ever realizes that.
Well, even if there are like PGA events out there.
Yeah.
Dude, I made a nice little check from ESPN, just like being a dude's tripod put down guy at a tournament, just because this guy's a wireless camera operator that follows an entire twosome around a golf tournament, and he needs somebody to put his tripod down.
Oh,
and you could be that guy, or
Yeah.
you could get casted in like literally the same pay. It doesn't change. You could be laying fiber cable throughout an entire golf course, which like sounds not dissimilar to something you may have done at your job, but you're
kind of
sort of golf course, which is like super pretty and beautiful, and having to deal. The only shitty people you're probably having to deal with are the director of the broadcast that are miserable until the broadcast actually starts. But that's
how do I find out who I follow on TikTok? I have no idea how this works. I follow some guy on TikTok.
Like it's really bad, but like our school never got TikToks. The motion is like, we only have like 4 people that work in our communications office, and we have 19 teams. And if one team gets a TikTok, every team has to get a TikTok. So suddenly those 4 people have to split up 19 different TikTok accounts on their phones that they have to manage. It's like, no, Instagram and Twitter are just fine. Thanks.
TikTok will pop off. I posted a video of JJ Watt's last play as he's walking off the field, and I have like 80 followers on TikTok. It got like 3,000 views. Right to that. Well, I was in the stands at the Niner game when they beat the Cardinals, so I zoomed in real far.
Because I definitely got kicked off of Instagram for a week because I posted a video of a sick play.
Really?
From my TV from the English Premier League, and I got kicked off Twitter for a week.
I wasn't recording my TV. I was recording from the stands.
Like, you can be there and it's fine. If you're on your couch, fuck you.
Oh, there's plenty of accounts that just repost other people's interviews and other people's things, and that's what they.
A little on me.
That's what they.
Little guy.
Exactly. So I follow this guy. His name is Tom Wi-Fi, and he has like almost 90,000 followers on TikTok.
Sounds real.
And it's just him like setting up. Like he's doing a bunch of ubiquity switches and he's doing fiber lines and he's just plugging in shit and it's just random. But like, so he was doing what you were saying. He was working for it looked like a golf tournament of some kind. And he was there running fiber and putting up wireless routers throughout the course and stuff just so you could have all the access at different holes and stuff.
We were actually in charge of one day setting up the sky cam that would run across the entire driving range.
Mm-hmm.
So you got like 6 dudes, 1,000 yards apart, 1,000 yards of cable that are all being hoisted onto a pole that you literally have like, literally for lack of a better term, just like a hook shaped like this on the end of the pole.
Layup sticks. You got layup sticks.
Cable lined up on, and then you're all feeding and sending it up. Please, somebody make a gif of me doing that. And like, it was just, it's so weird, but then you go watch the footage and you see it happen at like the Bills game last weekend where it was snowing so bad that on the sky cam, there was a snowflake on it. And somebody I was watching it was like, can they not get the snowflake off of that? Because everybody knows who's watching with me is like,
sure,
you're in this. So, I'm like, no, do you know how hard it is to get that thing down? It's
do you know where that is?
You know how hard it was to get it up? It's a miracle they even got the thing in the air in the first place. It's just snow. It's a blizzard in Buffalo.
Yeah, you get it down, sure, it's going to get right back on there. You're just going to hit another one.
Yeah, 100%. It's even like, I'm watching some of the things, like there's been a commercial going around for one of the secondary football leagues. It's the AFL, not the XFL. And there's a drone on the field. I mean, I'm talking like 15 feet above the play. Yeah. And it's in the regular camera shot, but then for the ability for the director to use that, it's just like
right. It's like, crazy. It on the wires and whatever they're on. My wife asked me that exact question the other day. I think we were probably watching the Niners game last weekend, and she goes, is someone flying a drone? I was like, no. If that thing crapped out and hit a player, that would be not a good idea. No, it's on wires.
The video of the guy that got hit by the crane 2 weeks ago?
No.
The crane that runs the sidelines with the main camera.
No.
Yeah, guy wasn't paying attention during the during the Georgia TCU game, the national championship game, and got hit.
Ooh, like is it like
really weird like Twitter sex that are like sports production Twitter will like pop off on Twitter for a second? It's like,
is it on a track or something?
There is a line that they will draw where it's like, do not stand in the line, and like if say a team throws a 75-yard pass.
Yeah.
That crane's got to haul ass down to that play, especially if it's 2-minute drill type situations.
What game was it?
The field.
What game was it?
Georgia TCU in the national championship game 2 weeks ago. I don't know how I watched that game. I was watching the Pat McAfee show broadcast, and it was just way better than the actual broadcast. Especially when you go and watch the announcers 2 days later be like, yeah, we knew after one drive we were actually going to have to do our jobs tonight. Like, oh.
I cannot find it.
Please vamp, and I will do my. Let me see if my Twitter algorithm is nicer to me.
There's an NFL reporters getting hit compilation we could play.
That'll work.
And the main video is some blonde at the end of a college football game about to get creamed by two guys, just destroyed. She does not know what's about to hit her. Yeah, none of that works. Jump back up to Curtis if you're still in the chat. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. Mr. Ducksworth. Quack, 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 quack. I just rewatched. So I did a podcast last week with The Flying Cow. If anyone remembers the FCL, Mr. Clay, the Flying Cow. He's a cool dude. And he's like, he does a retro movie. What was the exact title of his retro moo? I need to look it up just so I can plug it properly. But basically, stuff from your childhood. What would you like to talk about? Type of thing. And I picked D2, The Mighty Ducks, because it's the best hockey movie ever made.
It's the best one of all. It's a complete movie. You don't have to know anything about any of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone gets justified screen time, and it introduced Kenan Thompson into our lives. What more 100%. Do you need to know?
It's knuckle puck time, baby.
It's knuckle puck time all the time. You ever tried to hit a knuckle puck?
No. No.
So dumb. Don't ever try to hit a knuckle puck. I did it in street hockey in middle school. Never saw that puck again. That puck it didn't go into the windshield of whatever NBA athlete they hired to be in that role.
Right. Yes.
Car. But it definitely was in the woods. It was gone, never to be seen again. And it was one of those ones that had like the rollers on the bottom too. I was really pissed. Those things were not cheap in the early 2000s.
That was a terrible idea.
Also, shout out to my 2000s Disney World Epcot glass.
Hell yeah. Very cool.
I don't know how this has survived in my family.
I had all of the Batman Forever cups from Burger King or wherever it was.
Everybody in the chat, what's your favorite random thing from a fast food restaurant that you had to go back for multiple times to get all? To get
the whole
set. These are up here, and then ours.
My dad got rid of them at some point. I don't know where they are. They're lost to time.
Definitely any of the Pokemon, the first movie merchandise that came out at Burger King. That was big.
1999, 98?
1999, the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then going back in time, it's really, and not back to time, but going to the movie, you had to get all the gold-plated cards that they were like giving you with your ticket. And those were crazy, bro. And then I just walked into
Luis couldn't stop. How are you going to make Team USA and you don't have it stop on skates? That's the only that part annoys me. If I'm being honest.
Tyreek Hill. Okay, I would love to play. I have a game that I want to play with you later that we've been playing at work.
Hold on, one second.
But I'll bring it up later. Just remind me about the game.
No, I just wanted to give a shout out to.
What was that screen? Is that a new StreamYard screen? Can you do that again?
What did I just do? This? This, yeah.
What is that?
This is good for trailer reactions. You can have the trailer played over here and stuff.
I was just about to say.
Instead of doing like this way where the trailer's all big and you get copyrighted, which is what Allison did when she watched Shazam the other day.
That's what everyone's been doing for 4 years.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you can do it this way.
That's so cool. That's new. I haven't been on a show in months. I've just been so busy with work. I haven't had every time somebody's like, "Hey, come on a show." It's like 11:30. I'm like, "Oh, I'm falling apart."
I did want to get one shout out to before we move on though. Nostalgia Cow. Shout out to the Flying Cow. So it's called Nostalgia Cow on Spotify. So he did the Babysitters Club. I think my episode's coming up in a couple weeks or so. We chatted up for about an hour or so, talking about D2, and rewatching the series too. The first one I think is legit a great, like, especially family movie. They start to get campier ish, you know, they start to get a little more fantastical, right, as the second and third one, and especially the third one, like, happens.
You can only score hockey goals without playing hockey so many ways, Sean.
True, that's very true, but you have to start to, you know, just bend your disbelief just a little bit as time goes on. They're still super enjoyable watches.
I really think I can make an argument that the Game Changers team would whoop the shit out of the, like,
100%.
Maybe not the USA team, but like the Banksy-less D3 Ducks.
They're not big enough yet, especially like this last season of Game Changers.
So if we take that for size comparison, probably like D2 pre-tournament, they would get wrecked.
Can Game Changers beat either Iceland or the Varsity Warriors? Because those were adults. Those were 28-year-old.
I think whatever team is going to come out of, like, actually, I think the two teams combined. So like whatever the dominate and Ducks, the Dama Ducks.
The Dama Ducks.
That's a terrible name. Please,
the Mighty Dominate. The Mighty Doms. No.
Disney plus XXX. The Dama Ducks are. I think they could, because they actually had some size that could back up. But what has always bugged me throughout the years is that the Varsity Warriors have the dude who was on Iceland.
Yes, Scott White.
Icelandic accent.
Yeah. Scott White. So he played Gunner. Gunner Stahl, and then he played Scooter. His name was Scooter. Scooter.
Wow, thanks, Scooter.
Yeah. Do you watch Settle the Score with Matt Nost and Andy Merriweather?
I haven't watched them.
So he Scott White is a voiceover actor. He's in a ton of stuff. If you look him up on IMDb, he has like 80 credits to his name. And he's friends with Matt. So he's been on the show like 6 or 7 times. He's hilarious. He's really funny. Yeah, check him out on Settle the Score. He's always really funny when they're playing the game.
Oh, that's sick.
But yeah, he played Gunner and Scooter. But looking at it, if you look over the IMDb list, there's many. He's not the only one. The principal from the first movie is also one of the teachers at the high school in the third movie. Yes. The lawyer that Bombay argues with at the beginning of their first movie, he's the writer of the movie. He's in all 3 of them, playing 3 different characters. The referee in the Goodwill Games that almost tells them they have to forfeit before the teacher takes over in the second movie.
Yes.
That same referee
what are we waiting for? The ice to freeze?
He's the coach of the varsity team in the third movie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So there's a bunch, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting, but there's a bunch of actors that are in all of them.
And then my favorite part was then, like, weirdly enough, D3 was the first one I watched. So
really? Okay.
We've done so many podcasts. Yeah. Because it was just a VHS that was in my house.
Sure. It was just as a kid, you just watched what's there. It was
just this massive duck face with this dude in a dope suit with kids standing around him. I'm from South Carolina, bro. I can't skate. I work for a professional hockey team on the side, along with my college gig. I'm the director for our minor league team and their broadcast. I can't skate. My boss texted me the other day. He's like, "Hey, we're trying to get a game together with some people at the office." I'm like, "Cool, have fun putting knives on your feet, you crazy fucks." Like, I can't do that. Like, the idea of hockey, just skating in general, blows my mind. So the fact
the original
that
DCU, that's right,
is crazy.
The Ducks cinematic universe.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Like, if you would throw me out there, I would be the Averman of any hockey team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, what Averman?
I'd be Carp. I'd get nailed in the head and just you'd never see that kid again.
Oh my god, I love
Wasn't he in heavyweights?
I
was
hope
he in
he's
heavyweights?
Doing well.
Or he was in all that? Wasn't he in all that?
All that.
Yeah.
He was in heavyweights.
Yep.
And yeah, Mighty Ducks. Just one. No two.
Do the just have the Bash Brothers or a guy? Do they have a? They don't have a Bash Brothers.
Well, sort
type of.
sort of.
Do they?
They tried.
Do they have an aggressive player?
It didn't go great.
Yes, because it's what we're always thinking about Lego. So now we're talking about it. That's why I brought Colin on tonight. We're talking all things Ducks.
Thinking about the Mighty Ducks. No, I do bring it up at work all the time. So we have camera 1, which shoots just the wide shot of the game. Camera 2 is our replay camera, but camera 3 is on the sidelines behind one of the goal that we are scoring on. The
Lego knows.
Two out of 3 periods. And I tell camera 3 all the time when I'm directing, pretend you're shooting a Mighty Ducks movie, god damn it. Just pretend. Get in there. Get real tight on that puck.
The camera work in the second one when they go to the shootout.
Oh, good. That's literally what I use for at work.
Yes, it's so good. The light is dimmed and they got the mist going over the ice and they go in all slow. It's not even slow. It's like 0.8 speed. Like it's just slightly slow motion. It's perfect. I love that. I really
do have a better and Lego, speaking of flying V, every time a guy goes behind the net I literally scream into everybody's headsets, flying V, and it never happens, and one day it will, and I'll be very happy, and my boss told me he'll take me out for beers on him the day it happens. But until then, it's beers on me. So
whether it works or not, if some player has the cojones to call a flying V, and the rest of his teammates join him,
the irony of it is that there's probably like some GQ video where it's like actual hockey player breaks down Mighty Ducks hockey clips, and it's like, oh god, this one wouldn't work. This one wouldn't work. How did they switch jerseys? That's the one that always gets me, where it's like the goalie.
It's like, wait, hold on. Are you allowed to take your helmet off? Just
to switch the goalie out.
No,
look for the one black for like the other black kid on the team. Obviously, we would have noticed, and it looks like he lost like $1.10, maybe. Even with pads. Sheesh, and then it's like, hey guys, but it's Charlie's play too, right? It's perfect.
Yeah. Charlie's like, I got this, guys.
I got it. Charlie, it's an illegal play.
Bob, I was like, all right, Charlie, you're never coaching again. This is terrible. It was a terrible idea.
It's the equivalent of the Lasso special. Where it's like, you wouldn't do that.
No. Yes, in the 90s cartoon. I vaguely remember the 90s. I didn't watch it, I think, religiously. Not as much as probably I should.
Every second of it, Sean.
Break it down. Let's do this.
Okay, so you ever seen Teen Wolf, the show?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, the show. No, the show. No, I've seen the movie.
Okay.
I've not seen the
show.
So
I'm back in the show, and honestly, the Mighty Ducks show was not far off. It was just a squad of dudes and one chick rolling around, beating ass with hockey sticks.
That sounds right.
It was on.
What
and then,
it had 26
the
episodes.
legend of Disney Quest at Downtown Disney in
1990.
Florida.
Clancy Brown was in it.
Yeah.
And Jim Belushi was the voice.
There was an arcade game, Sean,
Dennis
wall
Franz.
to wall, 2 stories tall, that you could go in with 8 people with standalone stations, and it was all Mighty Ducks animated theme.
Okay.
And it lasted for 15 years past the cancellation date of the show until
past the one season of the animated show.
The one show they built a game off of it, and they got 15 years.
Well, the Ninja Turtles arcade game is still like the best. If you go to like a coin op bar type thing, the Ninja Turtles game
sold at Best Buy, but NBA Jam is
out. Ninja Turtles, Simpsons was always a blast, and like Double Dragon. Those are the bombs.
Dragon. I love that cartoon.
I used to watch the cartoon all the time.
I love the cartoon. I think
have you seen the
extremely underrated? Like,
have you seen the movie?
Thundercats, like in that Thundercats era of like those kind of smacks.
Have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah.
With
multiple times.
Mark Dacascos and the guy from Party of 5. What's his name? I can't remember his name. It was terrible. It was a terrible movie. It was good, but it was terrible. Yeah, Lego's all in. It came out in 97. I wonder if it's on Disney Plus. You could probably search it up. Vapion, me too. I tried to start a team because I was a rollerblader when I was growing up. And because I live in I'm 3 hours from ice. Like there's no snow anywhere close by me. So Alyssa Milano. I think she wasn't.
Can watch it now on Disney Plus.
You can.
Okay.
Oh shit.
You can watch it now.
I'm gonna force my kids to watch it.
Like, hey kids, I'm gonna make you breakfast. Sit down. It's either this, or for me, it's gonna be like, all right, kids, we're gonna watch Beyblade and Yu-Gi-Oh. And I'm not talking about the ones that are coming out now. All right, you guys are gonna sit through the raunch that I had to sit through of terrible animation and bad dub.
My son right now, he watches way too much TikTok. We have to limit his time on that. But he's 9. Okay. He's way too. But like he's on like kid TikTok. He's not seeing bad things. But
TikTok?
it's just the algorithm and what type of videos they feed you basically. But but he sees Minecraft. Basically, yeah, but he sees a bunch of like Dragon Ball Z stuff too, and then but it's like games, so he'll see the advertisements. Now he wants to play the game on his phone or his tablet or whatever, and so he's like, I want to play this Dragon Ball Z game, and I'm like, only if you sit with me and we watch every episode starting at Dragon Ball. I will watch them all with you, but you can only play the game if we sit together and watch them through. And he still hasn't taken me up on that offer. One of these days, I'm gonna force him to sit down.
You definitely don't have to sit through all of Dragon Ball. I could definitely give you like.
Isn't there? There's the shortened version. What is it called?
The abridged version. It's bad because they literally will just like rip episodes apart. But you need to watch the full episodes. But there are definitely certain episodes. Like,
it wasn't abridged. No.
I know you have to start with Dragon Ball, but like, do we really need to watch all of Dragon Ball?
That's what I started with. He asked me the other day. He was like, "Who is this Naruto guy?" And I'm like, "That's Naruto. Like that's his name." He's like, "Yeah, but he's from the show Naruto." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's also his name."
See, but
I never watched Naruto. I didn't get into it.
No, that's Boruto's dad. I'm like, no. And then I just watched all of that 90s show in a week.
Did you? There's what, 8, 9, 10 episodes, or is there more? Okay, I haven't watched it yet. I've heard if you're a fan of the original, you'll be a fan of this show.
Yeah, it is literal junk food, and I'm fine with that. Sometimes you need to roll through McDonald's and you need something to watch when you get home. That is totally fine.
That's what it's for. Like, absolutely,
totally fine. That 90s show is not trying to beat Abbott Elementary out for Golden Globe Awards. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not how it's not an in purpose in life.
And best comedy, that 90s show.
Right, yeah. Like,
Red pops on, he goes, "You're all a bunch
of
jackasses."
Wake up twice that week and hear Red Foreman say, "Oh, I'll shove my foot up your ass," and I was good to go. The daughter being named Leia.
Wasn't her name Leia?
Eric teaches a course on Star Wars in Chicago in the first episode. It's just amazing.
Of course.
He's
that's what
quoting Star Wars the whole time. And then gives you one, "I'll shove my foot so far up your ass," to her, and the whole place goes, "Oh." Yes, Luke is totally, I think it, yeah, maybe Lando. I don't know. I think
maybe Lando.
I think Lando. I don't know.
Lando's infinitely cooler.
I don't know if Eric is cool enough to name his kid Lando. But it's got a good story. It's got a good heart to it. It definitely gives Kitty and Red more room to breathe, which is nice.
That's the one thing I heard. Deborah Jo Rupp had some room to really have some emotional spots in there.
Some really great emotional, weighty moments surrounding some of the kids. I really enjoyed it.
We haven't seen her in much.
I watched that 80s show. They did. That was really bad.
It was terrible.
It was a really bad show. And this was not that. Oh, the 90210 dream sequences were absolutely hysterical.
Okay.
They were great. So good. I loved it. They really did a great job of going into like, you didn't realize how much of that they did in the original until I went back and started watching some of the original ones, and I'm like, oh, they do this a lot. Like they
dream sequences
really were playing with dream sequences and like getting stoned and then be sitting on the couch and then they're like, oh, let's think about this, and then and then they're like thinking about something, but it's actually them explaining it. And it's not like somebody just has a dream and comes out of it. Everybody in the scene is experiencing your dream sequence with you. So it's not like it all really worked out. And they really did a great job with the circle sequences, the 360 cameras when they're all smoking. That was great. They do a great one in the opening episode where Eric and Donna are upstairs with Red and Kitty, and they're like, and Red says, "You feel it? You're upstairs, people now." And they're like, "Damn it!" Like just sipping the beer. Like Eric's drinking like the '90s version of a White Claw. I couldn't tell what it was. It definitely looked like a Smirnoff Ice, but the '90s version of it.
Okay.
And it was just like, oh man, it's hitting them.
Colin's selling me, so Mike, yeah, give it a chance. I'll definitely have to get to it if I have time.
Mike, this is not Abbott Elementary. Like this is not like
Zima.
Television. Like this is fine.
Yeah, Zima was the Smirnoff before Smirnoff Ice.
Zima, yes, thank you. Yeah. He was definitely drinking a Zima.
Definitely 100%. Yeah,
Josh, guys, I was a year and a half. I was actually a year and a month old in the timeline of the show. Okay, don't give me a hard time. I can't help it. I was bored.
That's why you watched D3 first.
Yeah, because it was on VHS when I was able to pick up a VHS and put it into a player. And also,
I'm an '87 kid, so I was a '90s kid when you actually learned about the world.
Yeah. I learned about the world through Reading Rainbow and Gullah Gullah Island and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Reading Rainbow. Ooh, I saw someone who posted on Twitter earlier about, were you it was Bill Nye, or who's the other crazy scientist
guy? Other guy?
Yeah, someone posted about that earlier.
Nah, it's all Bill Nye.
I watched them both, but I definitely remember this other dude.
I didn't know who the other guy was. That's why I can't remember.
You didn't? Oh, okay. Who was it? Who posted about it earlier? I just scrolled past the picture real quick.
Gullah Gullah Island.
Did you watch Beast Wars?
Did I watch Beast Wars? How dare you?
So I re-downloaded Beast Wars. I like ripped it off some website. I had them on my computer forever, and I was like, I want to go back and watch these.
Missed out on some of the toys.
What's it, second?
Literally walked into Walmart and there was Rat Trap, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, you're just here? Just like repackaged you? Like
recently?
You just had your mold laying around in the CAD file, and we're like, let's 3D print this. Let's just run this one again.
Like someone has got to have made this. Okay.
Insane! They're just running it again. When you think about it, now that Hasbro's gotten control over the movie contracts, you're like, oh,
yes, Beekman's World. That's what it was. It was
Beekman's World.
Yes, that's what the guy was named. I couldn't remember.
That's what your substitute teacher put on because they didn't have access to actually getting the good VHS.
No.
Yeah. Bill Nye was already rented that day.
Whenever your teacher rolled in, what was the most watched movie you saw throughout, whether like middle school to high school? It had to have been Ferris Bueller, right? I feel like everyone watched Ferris Bueller.
Carolina, we can get away with showing you anything that has anything to do with South Carolina history. So the movie I saw most was The Patriot.
Oh, okay.
Bro, aim small, miss small. Like that's all right. That could be the motto of South Carolina if they really wanted to. Like aim small, miss small, but they won't because it's too on the nose.
Yeah, Gibson, dude.
Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger,
and his son was Logan Lerman. Wasn't it a young Logan? Was his other son, right? Wasn't it? Am I misremembering? Or was it the kid from Jurassic Park?
Two other sons.
Yeah, wasn't it the kid from Jurassic Park 3? And then what's his name? Lucius Malfoy, Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, Logan Lerman did play his youngest son.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
How am I just realizing that?
Right, a young Logan.
And yes, Trevor Morgan from Jurassic Park 3.
Yep, there you go.
The other kid.
I couldn't remember his name.
Nailed it. And also, Adam Baldwin played the piece of shit American that turned on the Americans. And
yes.
Tom Wilkinson, Chris Cooper's in this flick. I mean, there's just a banging
so many. It was great. Yeah, that and before he went.
And
off
it was
the
all shot within 50 miles of where I'm currently sitting right now.
Yes, we just saw. Me personally,
movies at school. It's just that like South Carolina history was like, hey, 8th
grade. We only saw Ferris Bueller. That was the only movie they ever showed.
You took history, and then 9th grade was like an advanced version of that, and so on. So 7th grade to 10th grade. 8th grade was South Carolina history, and then we got that again in 11th grade with U.S. history, which was just like expanded upon. And then 12th grade was econ and government, which for some reason they felt we should put in the same class.
Yes, but we're lucky we didn't grow up in Florida. All in the game. That's our only goal. We're glad we're not there. I'm
lucky I read Harry Potter and had access to
when you were able to.
People learned how to manage it.
So I was in a Family Guy. Was it a group? Was it just a group? I can't remember if it was just an extracurricular group or if it was like a, what is it called when you do like clubs, like glee club? It's for extracurricular, I guess, like credits and stuff like that. So we created a Family Guy club. So we met every single like Wednesday or whatever day it was.
The ukulele club.
We literally just watched 2 episodes of Family Guy a week. Once a week we'd meet.
Really?
We'd meet for lunch. Yeah.
I had a teacher lose his job because he showed Jackass 3 at school, and it ended up on Tosh Point Up.
Him showing the movie, like the reaction from the class.
He also didn't get. No, the fact that he got fired was a story that got brought up.
Oh, okay.
And now I think about it, I think it's because he didn't ask for parental approval, and then some kid went home and told their parents,
"I saw a dick today."
I saw
it was
I
squished.
saw Wee Man's dick. Like, it's like, well, did you need to go home and tell your mom that? You're in the 12th grade.
You probably should have asked for permission.
It was an AP Psych. First. Like, it was really weird. It was our AP Psych teacher. Like, he was like a really like.
Well, it's one thing if you show a clip that doesn't involve nudity.
Like a normal guy.
Yeah, it's one thing if you.
The guy that ended up moving to Berkeley, California.
Yeah, okay. It's one thing if you show like where it's like not the nudity part. Right, you're just showing like the stupid stunts or whatever they did.
Oh no, he showed the whole movie.
Oh, okay, I started on Jackass when they were just on TV before they made the first movie. Right. So it was all like I got like indoctrinated into it. I'm like, okay, that was stupid. That was stupider. All right, that was really dumb. Like you like it was built up.
That's my era of MTV.
Yeah, if you get a kid
7 years apart, but maybe I shouldn't have been watching it better.
Well, if you get a kid who just jumps into like Jackass Forever, that's you're starting at a 12. Like you need to start at like a 3 and work your way up. I was the generation
that grew up with our parents watching Fear Factor, and my mom was like, "Oh, I'd love to watch these people crawling out of snakes." I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? You won't watch Lost, but you'll watch this?
I watched Fear Factor too. I was one of those crazy. I watched them both.
I looking back at it now, I did probably watch a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now realizing how much I watched of it, I guess that's Joe Rogan's pitch. He's like, look, I got you to watch me do Fear Factor, so I got Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's way better than this. And you're like, well, is it? Or I just like can't tell. I just don't know how like that guy went from Fear Factor to that. It's just like, one of his biggest like.
He lucked into it. He was in the right place.
Just like jumped in my mouth.
Viva La Bam was good. I watched Viva La Bam over what was Party Boy? No, what was the other one called? With Ryan, was it Ryan? Or no, it was a Wee Man and the other guy, Pontius. What was the other one called? They went to like exotic places.
Oh, really?
They did stuff with like the Animal Wrangler all the time. If I'm remembering, Wild Boys, that's what it was.
Wild
Yes,
Boys.
Josh, why are you coming with all the answers? Thank you, sir. Yeah, Wild Boys was. I saw an episode or two. I just didn't really get into that much. Yeah, it was Steve Bonpani's. They were doing like crazy shit. Yeah,
Fear Factor.
yo, let me get some of those rocks. That was a blast. I love that.
So you watching The Last of Us?
Dude. Sorry, I keep getting fucking emails from my Little League. I got tryouts all weekend. I'm managing my kids' baseball team for the first time. I've never done this shit. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna yeah. I moved him up a level. He's 9, so he can play for AAA or AA. He was in AA last year. So he's gonna be the younger kid. I'd rather he be the younger kid on the team instead of so he can
be the younger kid sooner than later.
Yeah, well, so he can be challenged because he's good enough to play. He's definitely not going to be the best kid on the team. He's going to have some work to do. But I'd rather he be that than the best kid on the team on a younger team.
Play?
There's no positions yet. He likes pitcher, but I don't think and he's pretty good at first. He's good at snagging balls too. So I think he'll be good at that. But there's no set positions yet. Just showing
videos of Freddie Freeman looking like he's doing death drops on first base to snag a ball. Show him how the pros do it. Say this is what you have to look forward to at first.
Start learning splits.
Just start splitting now, baby. Just start getting those deep stretches in.
Me growing up, I played baseball for 12 years. I was a pitcher, catcher, and third. And so I try to get him into catching, but he fucking hates it so much. And it's a lot of gear. I understand. I was a bigger kid. He's very small. He's
a lot of pitcher, catcher first, not a whole lot of pitcher, catcher thirds.
I got fast hands, man. I was good at third. I wasn't tall enough. I'm 6 feet tall now, but when I was playing, I wasn't tall enough to play first. I'm not left-handed either. So most lefties or gravitated to first base, not me. But
yeah, 6'2", probably like 215 at first base right now, and then the other one's like 6'4", 235. Massive human being.
Yeah, they're big boys.
Massive. Like run at me.
So yeah, I
saw him at practice behind the net, and he was taller than the net.
That's funny. So this my whole weekend's be slammed because I gotta go. We have to do the draft next week, so I gotta go watch the tryouts. So our level is 9, 10, 11. So there's going to be a bunch of kids from the majors, which is 10, 11, 12 that drop down. And there's going to be a bunch of kids from the AA, which is 7, 8, 9 that can come up. So I have to watch all 3 leagues in all their tryouts. So I have like 2 8-hour days ahead of me of just fucking taking notes.
Going to baseball practice, zen.
I don't know how to. So I'm like looking over other coaches' shoulders.
Like,
how are you grading them? How are you grading them?
Leave the camera on. I'll be like that one.
Oh,
that one, and we'll just build a good team. Just build a good team. Look for kids that are good people.
It's tough, but that's what I was doing. So we had our first tryouts, and it was just the majors. It was just the 10, 11, 12-year-olds. But a few of those 10-year-olds are going to drop down. So we were over there. These fucking kids, dude. They're all on travel ball teams. These kids are going to private lessons 3 times a week. Out of the 12 kids that were at that tryouts on last Wednesday, 10 out of the 12 of them were studs. Like, these kids should be playing for their high school team at 10 years old. Like, it's ridiculous.
We ended our season
I don't understand.
in June for college baseball, and we missed the NCAA tournament. But within 2 weeks, these kids were up at the Cape Cod League working their ass off all summer. Like, they don't stop playing baseball. The only time they stop playing baseball is when it's cold.
Sure.
Like, they legit don't play baseball from October to January 10th. And that's it.
It's ridiculous.
That's it. It's a 9-month out of the year sport. It is constant commitment, and I work with the one out of those 12 that you're talking about that will give a shit enough to go on to do it. And there's like 30 of them, and you just look at them and you're like, oh, this is what you want to do. I respect that shit.
Go for it. Let's go. Farther than I ever went. Yeah, I tried to pitch my daughter on playing softball because it runs. She's a cheerleader.
Pitching is banned. What are you gonna do?
What?
It says softball is evil. Oh, okay. I thought you meant pitching.
No, I'm sorry. I tried to pitch my daughter. I didn't even mean to be a play on words. I tried to sell my daughter.
I was
on
reading the
baseball.
comment. I read it as pitching should be banned in softball. So I was like, well, how are we gonna play?
What? We're gonna play. She didn't. She was so adamantly. I'm like, come on, your best friend plays, and she's like, nah. My daughter's a cheerleader. I'm like, it's opposite of the cheerleading season. You can play for 3 months before you have to go back to practice in like June or whenever it was. She didn't want to do it. When does the season begin? Well, tryouts are next week, and then we have to. Or no, tryouts are tomorrow, and we pick the team on Wednesday. So then we get our practice schedule soon. We're still waiting. I think registration closes tonight, so we'll know exactly how many people we have in the season. I'm going to be so busy over the next 3 or 4 months. The last week of the season is the first week of June. Is like because they don't pay competitively yet. There's no tournament of champions. There's no playoffs for my kids' level, not yet. Next year maybe, or in a couple years. No, only my kid can only be drafted by me, so he actually doesn't get to try out, which he really wanted to do. But we have so many. We have 13 teams in our league. Yeah, for kids, for 9, 10, 11-year-olds. There's so many, and that's just AAAs. There's also AAAs, farm, majors, juniors. There's so many kids in our baseball league. I think there's like 500. We have a huge little league in our area. It's really big. It's huge. Yeah, for sure. So drafting kids for their parents is actually a strategy, and it's something I need to do because this is my first year managing. I don't have an assistant coach. I have no idea who's going to help me do this. So that's something that one of the VPs of the league, he was telling me. He's like, hey, since you're new to this, he goes, look at the kids whose parents are warming them up before they come up, because that's the parent that's going to help you during the season. And is going to help their kid also. And I'm like, all right, that's really good. I don't know their names though, until they actually until they get called. So it's not like I'm going to go like watch that's weird. I don't want to be weird, but I try to keep an eye out for that. Are you
scouting the kids? No, I'm scouting his dad.
No, his dad looks like he wants to coach, and I need an assistant coach. So I need at least 2 volunteers. 2 out of the 12.
Out here with Bloody Marys. This dad's out here with a body armor. And I respect that.
Yeah, look at him. He's teaching his kid to duck walk, right? That's a catcher right there. I know that kid. He's going to be a catcher. Let's go.
He's doing drops with his son at first base.
There's so many kids who don't want to catch, dude. I loved catching, so that was my jam. And I tried.
Their knees are like as fragile as sticks.
Yeah, my legs kill me.
They're gonna give him arthritis.
I'm 35 now, and I regret that, but I've never had knee surgery. No, well, knock on wood. But maybe in the next few years, I don't know. My knees kill me.
Okay. Well, I think we can end with a fun game. So you
mentioned The Last of Us. You said you told me earlier you don't play the game, do you?
No, I'm an Xbox kid.
That's why.
But I've also been on the internet long enough to know how the game ends.
Oh, okay, so you know the spoilers.
Yeah, so I'm like aware of where
part 1 and 2
going, and I'm constantly intrigued at how HBO is not going to pop up with a choice on my TV to be like, are we going to do this or are we going to do this? I'm like, well, all right, Bandersnatch, let's see what you got. I really approve of this.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, because we definitely didn't talk about it. Not yet. So no, you haven't missed anything. We've just ignored the subject of the thumbnail the entire time. Did you? I don't think I've even told you what we put on the thumbnail, because he was supposed to announce like his slate. Everyone was anticipating it happening this week, but we haven't heard anything other than the Shazam trailer coming out.
Just give me your Shazam trailer.
Right. We did talk about that a little bit. Oh, we'll get to that all in the game. Stand by. We'll get to that right after The Last of Us talk. But no, so I after the first episode aired, because Jesse's been playing the game for the channel. If anyone wants to go back, go give some love to those videos. Throw a comment, a like, whatever. Jesse's been playing the game, so he is just barely ahead of this week's episode that's about to come out. He's ahead of the Bill stuff. So he needs to like play catch up. And I told myself I was going to do the same thing. I started playing the game after the first episode aired, and I was like, I'm just going to play as long as the show is. Right, I don't want to get too far ahead. Anyway, I'm about to beat the game, but I'm at literally the last fight of the game right now. I kept dying. I was playing last night. I was falling asleep. I just kept dying. I was like, it was like almost midnight, and I'm falling asleep here in the chair. I look up. And I'm like, oh, I'm dead again. All right, I'm gonna restart this one more time. But I didn't tell myself I was gonna go back and play another 40-hour game, and then I did, because I don't like free time. What's free time? But I think as soon as I finish it, I'm probably gonna start part 2 as well, just because.
Yeah, I have no idea what part 2 is about, and I'm gonna keep it that way. Hopefully, unless I just play through the game and just say screw it. But I'm interested because, of course, today they announced that season 2 was greenlit. So I'm curious, and your prediction, do you think that they're going to wrap up the first game in season 1?
So that was I thought so I haven't played the game in a couple years. Right before the second game came out, I replayed the first game. So when did the second game come out? 2019, I think. 2020? 2019, 2018? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I played the first game right before the second game came out.
It was when the PS4 came out. It was a PS4 game.
Was it PS4? Really? It wasn't PS5? Sure. No. Yeah. Was it?
Part 2 is a PS4 game.
I'm shocked at that. 2020. June 19th, 2020.
Which was
PS4. You're right. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. Okay.
Mainly because that game had been in production so long, the PS5s were not.
Yeah. Okay. So originally, my memory of the first game, I was like, yeah, there's a very clear middle point to the story where you could end it. But now after replaying the game, there's quite a few points where you kind of transition from, okay, that was chapter 1 to chapter 2. We have chapter 3 and 4 to get to the end of the game.
Account that shows me like completion rate of game after each episode.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Someone
should start that. That seems like a lot of work.
I'm not gonna how far along in the campaign are we at this point?
So there is a video. So I played the PS4 remastered version, not the PS5 remake, which has the way better graphics, right? Yep. But I wanted to see what the difference was, so I went on YouTube and I looked it up, and there's like a 5-hour cut of all the scenes, right? And it's so good. It looks so amazing. But you can kind of jump through that and like find out like, okay, so I'm about 2 hours into the game, so that means I'm about a fifth of the way done with the game, you know what I mean? Like based on the show. So you could do it manually and do it that way. I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of work. Yeah, the game sales shot up.
I'd love to know what GameStop is like right now.
300% is what I heard.
GameStop is like, please make a Crash Bandicoot movie and get these discs out of our store.
Get them all out. So
please make a Viva Pinata movie, even though they're like, we made a TV show when you were a kid and nobody gave a shit.
No one gave a shit about it. Everything's all digital. Everyone's just downloading the game nowadays. I thought they could have ended the show halfway through, but it just depends on how you want to end the show. Do you want to end the show?
You know how many episodes it is?
9, because they combined the first 2 episodes.
Like the whole game.
It probably is going to be, because that they combined the first 2 episodes. It was going to be 10. Most HBO
and also,
shows
if you don't want to fuck it up,
well,
like if you're like afraid, like we might never get another shot at this, you're like, okay, we're not going to split this up and leave this to some exec.
I feel like they knew. They had to have known they had a hit. I mean, it's so freaking good. They had to have known. But the first game is very much a Joel and Ellie story. That's it. It's about them. There's other characters, but there is an end point, and they do wrap up the story at the end. The second game, there's a lot of new characters, and there's a lot of divergent storylines, and they play with flashbacks a lot too as well. So there is very much a way they can split the second game in 2 seasons. They could either do it one of 2 ways, in my opinion, is they could have season 2 of the show just have all those flashbacks and have them play in the linear order.
Spartacus Blood War, or
I never saw those. Is that how they went?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the main actor died of cancer.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the second
Liam McIntyre, I think.
so there's the owner of the gladiators,
Okay.
But they all basically are on this guy's team of gladiators, but they're his fucking slaves. And it's him, but like the prior group of gladiators with like younger versions of the ones that were in season 1 while they figured out what they were going to do. And then they were like, fuck it, we're just going to recast it.
Well, so they don't do flashbacks prior to season 1 or the part 1. They do. So because from game 1, part 1 to 2, they jump like 5 years or so.
Okay.
So you jump
That's
ahead.
what it looked like from the trailers in terms of Ellie's like area.
Yeah, then they do flashbacks to the time between, basically, is what I meant by flashbacks.
Oh.
So they could do it one of two ways. They could do season 2 of the show could be like just play the story linearly. So instead of having the flashbacks during the show, just have that be season 2 and then catch up to real time.
And maybe we'll see the show use some of those tropes later on in this season as a precursor to that, just to see if they're willing to do flashbacks.
Sure. Well, they are doing it. They've done it so far in 2 episodes, and it looks like they're going to do that in the 3rd episode too, because like the stuff with like the news conference at the beginning of the show in the first that's not part of the game. The stuff in this 2nd episode with the lady
and doctor.
Yeah, in Indonesia, right? In Jakarta, I think it was.
The cold opens have been separate from the show. Everything from the show has seemed pretty linear, but the cold opens have been existing in a world of their own. Almost similar to Lost.
And it's worked very well. I really dug. Oh yeah, I love what they're doing with the divergent. Like they're still getting from point A to point B, but they're doing it just slightly different.
Felt like I was watching Contagion. Like it's kind of what it feels like, which like. You don't get that in the game, from what I understand. Like you know, you can absorb the lore if you look around and understand. Like if you're watching the show and you're looking up at the billboards and stuff like that around Boston, you're able to pick up a little bit more about the lore and the stuff that's going on in the world that the show's maybe not giving you the chance to walk around for 25 minutes in a room and see everything that's in the room. But if you pause your screen, you can probably figure out some of the stuff that they were trying to do.
There's a lot.
To me, honestly, this is a very interesting thought experiment in comparison to something like Ready Player One, where the writer of the book was the writer of the movie. And it seems like, and he was deeply involved with the process of the movie. And when it is kind of like a trimmed down version of the movie, but you get the basic plot points to a certain extent of everything. And I feel like having Neil on this project has really
directed the 2nd episode.
Yeah. And it really feels like having somebody who truly understands everything about the story that you're trying to tell. It would be like trying to do Hamlet and Shakespeare's there next to you. And you're like, well, what do you think? And he's like, well, you know, we could fix this. Imagine being on the set of Hamlet and Shakespeare's like giving you notes on your script, how you could trim this down a little bit. Like, well, that sounds pretty good. I kind of like that.
That's a pretty good idea. Well, it's the collaboration between him and Craig Mazin that seems to be working great because they're them and HBO and exactly what All in the Game's saying here. They're giving great notes and they're all working together pretty damn well. Yeah, because the first episode was supposed to end with Joel just tossing that kid in the fire. And it's like, well, that was depressing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the end of the first episode originally. And then HBO was like, why do I care? This was just a super depressing 44 minutes or whatever, however long it was.
That's the whole fucking point. I'm not here to make you happy. This isn't a serotonin show.
But they had to, but then it's like, why would I come back? That was just a really depressing short movie.
See that? That was art.
But no one had introduced Ellie, and the reason why there might be some bit of hope to carry on. So I totally agree with that. It was really good. I like listening to the podcast afterwards, which is hosted by Troy Baker, who is fantastic. I love his voice.
Really?
Have you not listened to any of them?
I listened to other podcasts that were talking about it. I just haven't.
They're quick. They're like, I think the first one is like 40 minutes. The second one's like 35 minutes or something.
I'll knock it out tomorrow on my way into work.
Yeah. So they talk about Tess's backstory, like written for the character, like not never to be shown on screen, but they basically talk about her character motivations, a backstory that they just didn't decide not to film. But it was really interesting to hear too about her family before she ever met Joel. I thought that was cool. That was pretty cool. In the second game too, what they could also do with the second season, second and third season, I think, is because you do get introduced to more characters and you see other characters' points of views in the second game, is you could have a divergent, like season 1, we're following Joel and Ellie. Season 2, we catch up with Abby and whatever she's doing in between the timelines and stuff like that. And just I don't know if it would bring back a lot of fans other than name recognition alone on the Last of Us series. It depends on how you cast it. If you cast someone like Florence Pugh or someone in the role, you're getting a huge star like Pedro.
Hey,
so it just depends.
All about this kind of shit where it's like, give me 6 episodes of White Lotus with a cast that costs the GDP of Colombia. And we're just gonna roll with it,
right? The second game is really dark. It ends really dark. The whole thing is it starts really dark. The whole game is pretty dark. I'm excited to replay it. What's up, Robert? Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Yeah, imagine if Brian K. Vaughan was on set of the Y: The Last Man.
I never watched it. I don't know anything about. It was not a manga. It was a graphic novel, right?
Graphic novel. Brian K. Vaughan. 5-6 full volumes, like thick full volumes. FX did it dirty, in my opinion. Just a property that was stuck in hell for so long, and somebody finally greenlit it. Probably an exec that was like, "Get this the fuck out of my face," because I'm sick of people trying to bring it to me. So somebody just make it and fail, so I don't ever have to hear about it again.
Make it terribly,
It was bad. It is a show that, if done right, like this is what people who were pitching Y: The Last Man, which predates The Last of Us, were hoping for. And unfortunately, like movies like Speed Racer did Y: The Last Man dirty because of chimp rights.
Because chimp rights? Okay.
Chimp rights. Monkey rights on sets. Because the second you make that monkey CGI in Y: The Last Man,
it's not good.
Over, because he is a main character. It would be like walking around with the dude that played Aladdin in the Guy Ritchie version of Aladdin.
Mina Masad.
And then you have like animated Abu.
Okay. Well,
the 90s Aladdin. Sure. You're like, this just doesn't work.
It just
like,
doesn't look right.
But the live action dude is completely believing that it's a live action monkey. In
Cruella, she had her little dog. That dog was CGI the whole movie, if you remember that. So it depends on how you do it, right? Did you watch The Umbrella Academy?
Yeah,
and they had the chimp guy.
Bruh is a talking chimp. In the Y: The Last Man, it is a real chimp. Like it is a chimp. Like,
I don't know. I never saw it. I have no idea.
It is a monkey that hangs around a dude in an apocalypse. It does not talk. It does not do comedy things. He needs to also help this monkey not die. And so it's like very weird that it's like, maybe we should animate it. And FX was like, this is expensive and looks really bad. Are we sure we're going to do this? Because we cannot have your live monkey on set. Which sucks. Because, like, definitely way easier in a comic book to, like, draw a monkey hanging around with a dude for, 6 volumes of a comic book. But, well, we keep getting comments in the chat about what James Gunn is going to do with this slate. And as Sean deals with life, I'm going to at least try to figure out what possibly could be on a new DC slate. Like, I don't know, because normally if you look at Marvel as a let's just call it a pathway to success, a lot of the success you've seen from Marvel has been tested in their comics. And I think that's one thing that DC's really failed on in years past, is taking advantage of the stories that they're playing with in their comics and translating those into the screen. It seems like the plan for DC has been to take existing properties from comics, existing stories that are older, and try to make them relevant in modern society, or at least our modern times. But Marvel is seemingly taking stories from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which is a lot easier to modernize, I have my Sam Wilson Captain America #1 in my closet, like ready to roll, right? Like that's not an old comic. Like Justice League right now, exactly, Mike. Totally getting to my point. My point being, Justice League is no longer the team. Officially, as of last week, the Titans are the #1 team in the DC universe of comics.
That's an interesting comparison too, because so like the Winter Soldier storyline was 2000s, right? Wasn't it? Yep. I only know this from listening
I want to say
Jawin
started 07, I think, maybe.
Okay. I used to listen to a lot of Geek History Lesson, and they always did a great Jason and Ashley did a great job at breaking this down. Jason, right?
Yeah, Jason.
Okay. Yeah, Jason. I was like, that's wrong J name. So I used to listen to a lot of those, and they did a great job. I think DC's original problem was they were trying to play catch up with Marvel. They just decided, oh yeah, Man of Steel, and then let's just go into the team up movie, right? No, exactly what Robert said. Start with Superman, let them be an anchor, or any character. It doesn't have to be Superman. It doesn't, because Iron Man was not Marvel's flagship. It became the flagship. It didn't start as the flagship. It was some random C-list character.
And Captain America were not relevant in modern Marvel comics until Civil War.
They could start with.
Cannot name a project that came out other than the Winter Soldier storyline for Captain America or Iron Man that is pivotal to their modern day success, other than the Winter Soldier. Iron Man, everything that's come from Iron Man that we know as Iron Man success has been Batman. Like, he's not Batman, but he's kind of Batman.
Well, Robert, I disagree. I don't think it needs to be Superman. I think it just needs to be a good movie with the slightest of world building at the very end, similar to what they did in Iron Man when they introduced the Avengers Initiative at the very end. They could do that with Blue Beetle. They could do reshoots on Blue Beetle. They could do reshoots on Blue Beetle. They could take out all of the DCEU references. They could reference whatever's gonna be the DCU going forward, and just have that be our Spider-Man, our down on his luck, root for them type of hero, because that's kind of what I've heard. I don't know much about Blue Beetle, but that's what I've heard about what Jaime Reyes is. And we could all glom onto that, and especially with Jolo he's such a fun actor too. He can be a great presence in movies as well. So if they hit it off with that could be the building point, the foundation point, and move forward, especially as he himself as an actor grows old and as a person grows older. And they could build around him. He could look up to Superman, and you could introduce Superman even through cameos.
Powers are also completely built off of Apocalypse tech.
I have no idea what his power set is.
Yeah. His powers are totally linked to everything galactic in the DCEU. Like, the scarab on his back is an alien. It is not dissimilar to Venom.
Okay.
To where he has, instead of a symbiote organism, it is a robotic AI, also symbiotic relationship, where he is constantly having an argument with the Beetle, with the Blue Beetle. He is not the Blue Beetle. He is simply the vessel for the Scarab, as it's called. And it is there's blue scarabs, there's red scarabs, there's green scarabs, there's all these different colors, much like there is in most of DC's universe. It's all based on colors. There's red energy, yellow energy, all that kind of shit.
Red kryptonite, yellow.
I think Beast Boy could be that. Like, it's there's so many things that I think DC can do to be more aware of its audience. Marvel captured lightning in a bottle. DC can't do that. You are officially playing catch up because Marvel reacted to you, and you did not have the correct the correct reaction to their reaction. So to a company that had been making Fantastic Four movies, very successful, 2 Spider-Man movies and a third, X-Men movies out the wazoo that didn't need to link to anything at all besides themselves. And then suddenly they're making billions of dollars and are owned by Disney, and DC's looking around at themselves like, oops.
They did a great job too at hiring the right filmmakers to make the movies for those times, because they're if you go back and watch, like, they're generally good movies. Like, it's not just capitalizing just on comic book stuff.
No, they're just like they're going to be much harder to go back and watch. Just like, unfortunately, like, old Star Trek is hard for modern audiences that didn't grow up with it to go back and watch and not feel like it's campy.
Well, I think
brother,
MCU made good movies,
goes back and tries to watch the original Spider-Man, he's gonna feel like it's campy.
A little bit, yeah. Well, so Robert, yeah, they are using the Flash movie to erase and that's the whole point of Flashpoint. From what I remember of the animated movies, Flashpoint kind of combined with, I think it was Apocalypse War.
Yep.
Where at the end, wasn't it Constantine who tells Flash, he's like, hey,
well, Flashpoint,
you got to fix things. Flashpoint, he goes back and he sets everything right. Spoilers for the DC animated movies. They've been out for years. They're 10 years old at this point.
But there's just like so much that happens after Flashpoint. There's like 15 movies.
Oh yeah, no, that's what. So Flashpoint in itself doesn't affect anything, right?
Flashpoint doesn't really do anything for that universe except like make Barry a better person and make Batman cry.
Sure. Yes. The events of the movie, he goes back and reverses everything, and it doesn't, much of it doesn't matter anymore. But it's a cool story. It's a cool movie. But then they redo that again after Apocalypse War because the world has gone to shit. And so Constantine, essentially, if I remember right, tells Barry at the end of the movie, the fucking universe is about to end. You need to go back in time and set this right. And then I don't remember. I don't think I saw another anime movie after that. So I don't know where the storyline went after that. I'm just not educated on that part. But essentially they could do that
somewhere.
But that could be a way too for Flashpoint.
Way to do it, not just like the Flashpoint of it all, but the DCAU of it all, the animated universe.
That's why I don't understand why, if the rumors are true, and we'll see when the movie finally comes out, but I don't understand why they would remove the Superman cameo, Aquaman, Wonder Woman cameos, even Ben Affleck's cameo from Flashpoint. If the that's the whole point of Flashpoint, is at the end he can go back and reset.
You can sports book and get odds on whether or not that movie will actually even come out.
Will it actually happen? I mean, they seem to be loving it, so they're bending up. Warner Brothers bending over backwards to make it happen, to get it out there.
Yeah, but like the dude that's at like the front of it, like, kidnapped a girl.
Yes, he did a lot of things.
It's crazy. It's like, dude who kidnapped a girl, movie opens at $110 million, and you're like, really? In this algorithm?
It's wonky. It's wonky. I don't like it, but at the same time, I'm interested to see it. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to see it. I want to see what's his name? Robert. Oh shit, I remember the guy who plays Klaus in the Umbrella Academy. Just tag them in for everything Ezra Miller. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Ezra Miller's just like the slightest bit not white. That, like, the actor that plays Klaus, I have him saved.
Robert Sheehan.
I have him saved.
Yes, for what?
I thought he was going to be Johnny Blaze. From the photos that we saw from She-Hulk, when all we saw was the poster of Johnny, what was his name? Donnie Blaze.
Donnie Blaze, yes.
Donnie Blaze, yeah. When
I will pat myself on the back because I saw that in the teaser, and I put that in a video, and I think
we talked about that. I
think Coy was the only other person on the internet who mentioned that. New Rockstar was running wild with Johnny Blaze shit, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Donnie. That's a D. Like, no one else was saying that. Anyway, no one else I saw. I don't know who it is. Yeah, Robert Sheehan, Mike. Yeah. He plug in Robert Sheehan for everything Ezra Miller, and I would love it. Like, he's fantastic. I love him as an actor. He's great.
I want him to lead the cult I eventually join.
The cult. He has a cult in season 2 and 3.
Yeah, I know. He was pretty good at it.
He was pretty good. They're ending it next season too. I like the Umbrella Academy.
I enjoy it. It's just like, again, it's not trying to win Emmys. It's just trying to entertain you. And Gerard Way is like, I've already won Grammys, so I don't care.
My only issue was with the some of the writing for season 3.
It got a little convoluted.
It was just every episode was a constant, like, all right, we need all 8 of us together to solve this problem, but we're missing this one person.
Yeah, but let's all argue over sushi first.
Well, it's like, I'm going to go find that person. All right, well, now there's 6 of us. And then one person comes back and it's like, oh, man, he went to go find you. I'm going to go find him. It's like, so they were just constantly rotating characters, like, from the group.
Stepping over each other's toes.
Yeah, exactly. So it became a repetitive, and you notice that throughout the season. You're like, it's just the constant same problem. Like, if we could all be together to solve the problem, we would have ended this on episode 2. Anyway, I don't know where we were at. Yeah, Cinna. You just chimed in. I don't know what you're talking about. So that's the thing, though. They need to just go one movie at a time. Don't jump to the team up movie. And I hope Gunn does that too, because regardless of who he casts, I mean, I think he
You mean from the guy that's directed a team up movie?
Multiple team up movies.
Nothing but team up movies.
Nothing but team up movies. And however you feel about Guardians Volume 2, I like Guardians 1 just because the only reason I don't like Volume 2 as much as 1 is because 1 set such a high freaking expectation for 2. It just didn't live up to that high expectation. It was still pretty damn good. And so was the holiday special. And The Suicide Squad was amazing, right? The second one, was it the first one was The Suicide. The second one was Suicide Squad. No, the other way around?
Suicide Squad.
Whatever. James Gunn's Suicide Squad was freaking amazing. I love that movie. It was fantastic. And he's casting people out of nowhere with the girl who plays Ratcatcher too. She was amazing. Like, she was just out of nowhere. Do that with Superman. I wanted this some out of nowhere pick. I don't want that kid from Euphoria or whoever everyone's talking about, that big tall kid. I don't remember the guy's name, but like, just cast a nobody. Like Henry Cavill, people don't realize Henry Cavill's in a few things. Henry Cavill is relatively a nobody before they cast him. I have no idea.
Cavill has spent more time playing World of Warcraft than he's ever done acting in his life, and he'll tell you the same thing.
He was in Immortals. He had a bit part in Stardust, and those are the only things I had ever seen him in. I had never heard of him before, and I only went back and saw those movies. I was like, oh crap, that was him. I didn't even realize it was him, and they can definitely cast. Yeah, Superman sells the movie. Exactly, Josh.
Was also the Portuguese voice for Spider-Gwen Stacy in Into the Spider-Verse.
Say that one more time. I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
The actress who played Ratcatcher 2, Daniela Melchior, is the Spider-Gwen animated dub voice for Portuguese for Into the Spider-Verse.
Nice. Yeah, I think is she Brazilian or something? Or South American?
She's Portuguese. She's going to be in Fast 10.
Nice, of course. Yes, Lego.
And she's also in the Roadhouse remake
with Conor McGregor. Is Ronda Rousey in that too? Or I can't remember now. Yeah, Henry Cavill. He's a ginger. Google
Conor McGregor, Billy Magnuson, Lucas Gage. Oh my God!
Google Henry Cavill in Stardust. He's a super redhead, and he fights Charlie Cox at some point. Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman, and I love Christopher Reeve's Superman, but Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman. Straight from Man of Steel, though. They and bits and pieces of what he did in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was still an abomination, should have never happened.
Yeah, I picked up watching Teen Wolf again. I watched it a little. I watched 4 seasons of it. Mm-hmm. I guess I have 2 seasons left according to Paramount Plus. But they just came out with the movie, and there was a kid that I didn't realize got picked up in the 4th season, is now a regular in the 5th season, played young Clark in Man of Steel.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the kid's name, but I know you're
on this show. Yeah, now he's like ripped ass.
So the teenager then, not the kid, not the young kid, but the teenager?
The one from the... Yeah, the one from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He saves the bus. He saves the bus of kids.
Yes.
Oh,
the kid with the piercing blue eyes.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
he was a great young Clark. He looked
His
very
blue eyes
good for him.
are still there.
Mm.
And they're piercing as ever. Especially when they put glowing blue contacts in.
So Tom Welling is currently in some just crappy CW show. What is it called? It was on TV randomly. I was like, what is this? He's like a CIA guy.
Oh, he's in the Winchesters.
Professionals. No, so in Winchesters, he plays Sam and Dean's like great grandpa or something like that, which totally makes sense. Absolutely. No, he's in the show called Professionals on CW, which has Brendan Fraser in it, which is hilarious.
Click that show on Wikipedia.
Yep, there you go. Professionals, Brendan Fraser.
You literally can't even click it on Wikipedia.
It won't let you click it.
Have a Wikipedia page.
The show may or may not be bad. I haven't watched enough of it. It's filmed weird. It looks like some kid turned auto smoothing on or like turned on his iPhone.
Episodes of Lucifer?
I guess so.
He plays Cain in Lucifer?
Apparently. I didn't know that. Yeah, Brendan Fraser's in the show too. That was the episode I saw. Like Brendan Fraser has to shoot off of Tom Welling's shoulder or vice versa. I can't remember because he has to like snipe this thing that's like this rocket that's gonna explode. It was
Wow.
It's the way it was filmed. It was filmed funny. Like it's like they had like the true motion on your TV, and I'm like, get this off my TV. I hated it. It was terrible. Right? Yes, all in the game. Exactly. So that is their mom's grandpa then. Is that right? Wasn't that their mom's name? I can't remember the mom's name in the show. I haven't watched the Winchesters yet though. I've heard it's a lot more like Supernatural. Like I love Supernatural. I hopped on like season 4 and I rode that thing all the way to the ground. It was great. No? You never watched it?
I CW'd the whole way, and I was like, guys, I gotta like not watch one of these.
It was by the time
this is the guy that watched Gossip Girl, The Vampire Diaries, Smallville,
Me too.
Arrow,
Me too.
The Aquaman pilot.
Oh, I vaguely remember seeing it, but I wasn't paying attention to it. I don't remember. With Justin Hartley.
Pilot. With the actor that ended up playing
Justin Hartley. I don't know, how did he jump from Smallville into Aquaman, but was it going to be in the same universe?
Aquaman, it was into Smallville.
Was it before?
No.
Yeah.
It was Smallville. He initially guest starred.
He was Green Arrow.
Between, and then he gets the Aquaman pilot that doesn't work. They then bring Thad Castle, aka Jack Reacher,
Alan Richardson,
on to be Aquaman in Smallville, which then cancels out Justin Hartley, which then they bring him back into.
Oh, okay, that's what happened.
They bring him back into Smallville after the pilot doesn't work, and Lois Lane is like, "Ooh, yes, all of that."
Erica Durance was a huge crush of mine growing up. At just the right time in like the late 2000s.
I hope she's doing okay.
I hope she's doing great. She played Kara's mom in Supergirl, which was funny.
Right.
Yeah. Laura Barr. I don't remember their names. I don't remember her parents' names. But that was And Jensen Ackles was also in Smallville before he got Supernatural. Yeah. He has a brewery? What? That makes sense. There's a lot of people.
That checks out.
You watched the pilot for Aquaman? What did you think, Star? Was it 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when did Smallville start? Like 2004-ish, 2005? So it ran. No,
Smallville was 01 to 2011.
Yeah, it was 01. Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah, because they didn't bring in Green Arrow until the last 3 seasons or so. I think it was.
It's like last 4-5 seasons because that show went for 10 years. 10 seasons.
Laura, what was that supposed to? Laura Vander played Vander something. She played Kara and I haven't seen her in anything after that too. Yeah, Lois and Lana. Smallville was great. I really wanted to like rewatch it, but there's so I've listened to a couple of episodes of their podcast. Tom Welling does with what's his name? That played Lex.
Oh,
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
I've listened to some clips and stuff that I've seen online.
Yeah, all in the game. Alan Richardson is going to be in Fast 10.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. There's so many people in that movie. Jeez. I want to watch Jack Reacher. I have not watched it yet, but I love Alan Richardson. He deserves to get so much more than he's got.
The first season is really, really, really good.
Vandervoort. Good job. Vanderroot? Yeah, she hasn't been in much. I think she played a bit part as like Brainiac, a version of Brainiac in Supergirl.
I watched every episode of the remake of V.
Wasn't what was her name? What was her name in that?
You mean the girl
Deadpool.
from Lost?
No.
The girl from Lost that banged the bomb so much in the past that they went back. She's like, "Die, you son of a bitch!"
No, I was talking about Miranda Baccarin. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the wife from the Santa Claus movies.
The wife from the Santa Claus movies?
Yeah.
Oh, Penn. Wasn't that Penny? No, that wasn't Penny. That was a different actress. I know you're talking about the blonde from the Santa. I can't remember her name. Yeah, she was in. No, that was different. I don't know. We're just running around.
Talking about Elizabeth Mitchell.
Okay, 90s and 2000s TV.
But yes, Miranda
Baccarin. Yeah.
Yeah, Baccarin.
Yes, from Firefly. Also from Gotham as well.
I feel like her talents were extremely wasted in Gotham for like 3 years, and they were like, wait.
I watched every episode of Gotham. The best thing to come out of that was the Joker, I think, in my opinion. The kid who they got to play Bruce Wayne was just terrible. I wish he was better, but he didn't grow into the role. But they had what's his name?
He didn't grow, like physically.
That too. And by the end of the series, they literally just put him in platforms and like put a big old trench coat on him. So it's just like, yo, look, he's Batman. Yeah, it didn't end up being very good. But by the end, but you could tell they were like just like pulling on threads towards the end. It started good. It was fun. I like the guy who played Penguin. I don't remember the guy's name, but I really liked him because he was in the movie Accepted, and I always thought he was fucking hilarious. And then he was playing Penguin, which was a very different role, and it was fun. It was fun enough. Cameron Monaghan's amazing.
He played the kid that I'm looking for this South Armin Institute. Yeah.
He had like
the first kid that comes to the door.
He had Tourette's or something. I saw that movie. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. It was hilarious. I love that. Yes, Robin Lord Taylor. Yes, that was.
Would you like to eat my wad? Would you like to try my wad?
Try my wad. Ask me about my wieners.
Iconic.
Thank you, Jonah. Appreciate it.
Iconic as the knuckle puck.
What do you mean? Technically, wasn't Joker? Yeah, he was.
Not the Joker.
He was a Joker. He was a Joker. I feel like Joker is such a like. It's like a passed down like name, right? It's like a title. I don't feel like they have a specific. Is there a specific?
Stole the idea from Gotham.
What do you mean?
We can all be the Joker. Anyone can wear the mask.
Anyone can wear a mask of Joker. Well, I feel like they've redid the Joker's origin so much, and I don't know much about the comics. I haven't read a ton of Batman, but in every iteration of Batman on screen, there's a different version of how the Joker came about, right? There just always is. So like anyone could play the Joker. Is he Arthur Fleck? Is he Joaquin Phoenix Joker? Which I think is hilarious that he's playing Arthur Fleck when there's Affleck, right? And Affleck is Batman at the time, at least when the first movie came out. I always just thought that was really funny. Man. No, just me.
No, to me, I went back and I watched it maybe 8 months ago. Went back and watched just the last few episodes just to see how it ended. I feel like they did an okay job. You know, like it's not like Smallville was the best rap ever. Like it ended with the girl who ended up going to jail for a sex cult being like the bad guy for a little bit. Like Chloe ended up being the bad guy.
Yeah, what was her name? I can't remember.
I don't know. I watched the whole documentary. I can't remember her name.
What was that
Nexium.
What's that?
Nexium is the name of the
cult. Yeah. The Nexium cult. Yes, that was it. Yeah, that was interesting. I still haven't watched it. Allison Mack, there you go. Yeah, I still haven't watched that. Yeah.
Very good. Very disturbing in some points, but very good overall. And where season 1 leaves off, I always feel this way with documentaries. It's kind of also a weird way that I feel with anime and manga, where anime 100% of the time is behind the manga, never in line with the manga. Not how animation works. When documentaries come out that are about stories that are still going on, I don't want to Google it because it'll ruin the next season of the documentary.
You're like, I don't want to know what happened. I didn't see the news story. Don't spoil it for me.
I don't need you to have every Wrexham game this year. I'm gonna watch Welcome to Wrexham next year.
I want to watch that. I want to
watch every game.
I'm definitely not watching proper football, so I have no idea where any of that goes. But everyone's talked so highly about Welcome to Wrexham. I do want to watch that.
Welcome to Wrexham is fantastic, and it just makes you want to watch them until you realize that like it did catch up to like the real world very quickly.
Okay, interesting.
Like it caught up to this football season fast.
Well, that's fine because I'm not watching football, so I won't know what happened. There's
not a whole lot for them to,
other than randomly seeing news stories of Ryan Reynolds. And it's like, oh, they're halfway out of relegation. I'm like, I don't know what that means. All right, cool, good for you guys. Money. Yeah. Did you ever watch Pennyworth? Did you ever watch Pennyworth? It was on Epix.
On HBO Max. I think my mom watched it.
Said it wasn't terrible. I heard about it. Apparently it's good enough. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we ran this into the ground. So I appreciate everyone in the chat being here. And Colin, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me this evening. Hitting you up late notice. Jesse was busy this night and you saved the day. So I do appreciate you. I give a quick shout out to Allison for you never seen it. I believe, I could be wrong, this next week she has PLD on. And they are going to be talking back to school. I think Rodney Dangerfield. What did she watch at PLD? No, because I don't think what's Ed Harris is in that movie, so there's no way PLD would have picked that movie. But if you know PLD, you know it's an Ed Harris movie coming down the line. Either way, give a remember to come back for that. I will be doing a watch along for The Last of Us on Sunday night. I will try to go live as soon as I can, close to 6:00, right when the show drops. And then we'll be doing our review later that evening, and it'll drop Monday. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Colin, do you have anything coming up you want us to give a shout out to? Tell people where to go?
Oh, guys, if you would, go over to the Instagram account, the letters COFC_baseball. Give my latest reel a watch. Baseball season is beginning over here for me. We got basketball season wrapping up. My College Charleston Cougars are number 18 in the country in men's basketball. And as a tiny school down here in South Carolina, being number 18 in the country with only one loss on the season is it's a pretty big deal. So life and work, it's why you haven't seen me on channels a bunch, because sports has kind of taken over here, and I've not really had enough time for content. So just happy to pop on here in 2023, first time of the new year.
You got to work a real job.
Yeah, it's all encompassing, constantly offloading SD cards when I walk in the door. All the time. It's a constant flow.
I was like, how do I get my camera so I can record a 4K video? I'm like, oh yeah, record it to a card and then put it on my computer. Don't just record it to fucking OBS. Yeah. I'm done. I was like Googling, like, I'm so stupid, of course.
And usually it is the stupid things. Like, it's like the thing that you're like, how do I do it?
Oh, duh.
Best days ever.
Yeah. No, there's not programs who will just stream that much. Anyway, I'm silly. I'm dumb. Thank you everyone for stopping by to hang out, and we will see you Sunday. If you want to pop in for the live chat, at least to say hi and like the video and comment and tell us how awesome The Last of Us is. See you there. Peace.